year one, we started with 6 performances, or 6 shows. In year 2, 3, and 4, we went to 7 shows. In year 5, today is our 5th anniversary event, series. We're going to move to 8 shows on the series. Today we celebrate live musical performances from 3 of the shows that make up our amazing 5th anniversary season. We just finished an incredible week with MJ, the musical, to rave reviews. We had 22,502 guests across 8 performances, which included a snow week day in there on Wednesday. With Tanger Center, we have 17,569 subscribers in our current season. It's going to be very difficult to top that success in our 4th year. Our Broadway partners, PFM, Nederlander, have put together what is our biggest and best lineup to hit this Tanger Center stage yet. So, without further ado, please direct your attention to the video screen to see what spectacular shows are coming to the Tanger Center for the First Bank Broadway 2025-26 season. I'd like to give a shout out to our incredible staff, all of our team, the box office, to the marketing department, to the guest services department, the production department. It all takes a teamwork to put these big shows on. And last week was a phenomenal experience for the community. I did want to point out that 2 of the performances we announced are the winner of the Best New Musical for the Tonys. So The Outsiders this year and Kimberly Akimbo the year prior. The support of the Greensboro City Council has been instrumental in our success well before the Tanger Center opened in 2021. Please welcome our next speaker, Mayor Nancy Vaughn.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Scott, and thank you to First Bank for being the presenting sponsor. This has been such a great season. Looking forward to next season. It was just a few hours ago where I was here out in the arena watching the wonderful MJ the musical. How many of you saw MJ? Wasn't that was a great night. I do want to recognize my council colleagues, Nancy Hoffman, Zach Matheny, Jamila Pender, Mary Kay Abuzawader, and Hugh Holston. It is our pleasure to be here today for this very exciting announcement. I can't believe that it is the 5th year that we are going to have a Broadway series. That is so hard to believe. Time has just gone by so incredibly quick. So far, 1.3 million people have been through these doors. It has exceeded our expectations, and that is a big shout out, thank you to the Coliseum staff, to OBG, for making this a true destination. From Broadway shows to musicals, to family events, to comedy shows, the Tanger Center definitely has something for everyone. And Matt is sitting here, and I remember the very first time that, what was it that got booked, Matt? Not the Wheel of Fortune, it was Price is Right. And I remembered calling him up and saying, really, The Price is Right? And he's like, it's sold out in 2 days. I'm like, okay, let's do it again. So there really is something for everybody right here. And right now, we are ready for a special sneak preview of the first of 3 live performances we have for you today. How many of you read The Outsiders growing up? I think for a lot of us, this play means different things, and I am so excited to see it come to the stage. And The Outsiders winning the Tony for the Best Musical. How fabulous is that it'll be right here next year. So The Outsiders is a story of friendship, family, belonging, and the realization that there is still a lot of good in the world. So right now, we are going to have a sneak peek.
When I stepped out into the bright sunlight from the darkness of the movie house, I had only 2 things on my mind: Paul Newman and a ride home.
And now, please welcome to the stage John Patrick Collins, who will be performing the song Great Expectations from The Outsiders. Awesome. Thank you.
All these great expectations meet these grave revelations. Am I the one in control? Is it all predetermined? Am I playing a role? Part of a story foretold. Terrell was on his way up in the world. Everyone knew he'd go far. Life came along and had different plans. How quickly a dream falls apart. Johnny has no kind of chance in this world, not from where he's had to start. Who knows how far in this life he could go if he played a different part. I look around at all of my friends and still I feel alone. I would follow them to battle, but their story's not my own. They say there's strength in numbers, but they never think at all about a path that leads you out beyond these city walls. I've got great expectations, great expectations. between what is and what could be. It's hard to write the story when the story's writing me. When this great expectation meets this grave revelation, maybe this cover's not yours. When your book's full of creases and you see that the grease is telling a story, but you've read that one before, so you fight just to show them that they're not all the same, that under the cover there's more.
John, thank you so much. What a spectacular performance he put on. If you haven't seen that show, it is very powerful, and you're going to remember all the things you read in the book back in the day. We can't wait for the smash hit The Outsiders to hit the stage in December. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize a special guest in the audience today. We're honored to have one of the producers of The Outsiders in attendance. From the Araka Group, Christina Vivenzio. You'd stand up. Thank you for joining us today, Christina. A critical ingredient in the continued success of the Tanger Center's Broadway season campaigns has been the support of our season ticket members and our sponsors. We are thrilled that our title sponsor and official bank for the 4th consecutive year is First Bank. Please welcome Chief Executive Officer Adam Curry.
Thank you, Scott, and thanks everybody for being here. For those of y'all that have been here a little while, I usually get up and suck the air out of the room between performances. So I will try not to do that this year, but y'all have to listen to Banker for just a minute. We're really proud to be a part of this. I can't tell y'all how crazy this idea was 4 or 5 years ago in the middle of COVID, that Matt and Mike and others came to us and said, hey, the city needs you, the Tanger Center needs you. We've got a crazy idea. We're going to bring Broadway to Greensboro. And we think that people are going to buy tickets to this. And it was crazy. And here we are today, and it seems like such a no-brainer. All of these shows have been such a success. All the seasons have been such a success. And we look forward to another one and then many more to come. Scott's done something smarter and integrated me into this program. Matt's been trying to get me to sing up here for 4 straight years. All right, so I'm excited to help introduce our second special sneak preview, The Wiz. The Tony Award-winning Best Musical that took the world by storm is back and returns home in an all-new Broadway tour, the first one in 40 years. This groundbreaking twist on The Wizard of Oz changed the face of Broadway. From its iconic score packed with soul, gospel, rock, and 70s funk, to its stirring tale of Dorothy's journey to find her place in a contemporary world.
The tornado is closing in! Come on, Dorothy! Come on, he's on down the road. Come on, he's on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be alone. Come on, he's on down the road.
And now, please welcome to the stage Carrie Compare as she performs Believe in Yourself from The Wiz.
If you believe within your heart, you'll know that no one can change the path that you must go. Believe what you feel and know you're right. Because the time will come around when you say it's yours. So believe that you can go home. Believe you can float on air. Then click your heels 3 times. If you believe, then you'll be there. Believe in yourself right from the start. Believe in the magic that's inside your heart. Believe all these things not because I told you to, but believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, just believe in yourself as I believe in
Wasn't she great? So thank you, Carrie, for performing that. And Adam, thank you and First Bank for its continued support of the Broadway series. Bringing an amazing lineup of shows to Greensboro and the Tanger Center each year would not be possible without our Broadway partners, PFM and Nederlander. They not only are bringing us the 8 shows that we announced today, but we will also have 3 specials next year. Beetlejuice is returning to the Tanger Center September 2 through 7. Les Miserables will return January 7 to 11. And the hit musical Six will return May 5 through 8. So those are all 3 specials on top of the 8-show series. To speak on behalf of our partners, I would now like to welcome back the president of PFM, Lynn Singleton.
Good morning. I promised Jenny that I would be brief and I wouldn't sing. Just a reflection on the outs, a couple of comments on the 2 shows that we watched, the one show we watched and the other one that is coming. The Outsiders, I think it's the 2nd act, Christine, has a choreographed fight scene that's worth the price of admission. And then as a Tony voter, I'm required to go see all the Broadway shows, but what I generally do is, since most of our venues we don't do drama, we don't do plays, I'll certainly go see George Clooney, but I won't go see most of the other drama shows. So I go once a year, and I do like this gorgeous things, because what happens now, all these shows open at the last minute, and it's just one show after the other. So last year I go see The Outsiders, and I kind of remember the book, even though I was a very disinterested student in high school, according to my baseball coach. And then I went to see Hell's Kitchen. Had no clue what Hell's Kitchen was, so I'm about halfway through the first act, because I'm one of these 80s on 8 guy. I haven't got to the 90s yet. And so I was like, oh, it's Alicia Keys. Oh, okay, I get this. And my daughter recognized the song more than I did. So you've got a great season. Actually, one of the things that if I did my math right, so 8 times 8 is 64 performances on the main series, and 3 times 8, 3 shows on the secondary, or the encore series is what we call it in Providence, returns. Greensboro's doing 88 one nights of Broadway in the year 5. So Jenny gave me all these notes, and of course, as a CEO, I immediately decide to ignore them. And one of the things because I like to tell stories, because people identify with stories. One of the things I do that's probably the most craziest thing I do is we as a company, along with the Nylanders at a much higher level, we invest in Broadway shows. And everybody I know come to me and says, if you have a real good Broadway show to invest in, let us know. And investing in Broadway shows confirms the truism, nobody knows anything about anything. And then the other one, and I think David Merrick said this, is you can make a killing, but you cannot make a living. So I'll give you a couple of stories. Years ago, when he was alive, Jimmy Nylander Sr., who was in his late 80s, and he never could remember my name, so when I'd walk in a room, and you couldn't make the guy up, either him or his family. When I'd walk into a room, he couldn't remember my name, so he'd call me, Providence, it's Providence, and then we'd go from there. So they were going to have a reading for this show called Book of Mormon, and I was invited, and of course I go, and I'm sitting there. Now I'm Southern Baptist from Kentucky, so, and I'm thinking, oh, my mother would roll over in her grave. So I'm sitting next to this guy who knows it all, and invests in a lot of shows, who will remain nameless. And he says to me, I said, well, Miles, what do you think? And he goes, it'll either close in a week or it'll run forever. And of course, we didn't invest in it, and it's going to run forever. So I go to, it wasn't one of the openings, because I don't like to go to openings, because I'm at the higher level that I'm never going to get an aisle seat in an opening. So I go to some other one. And just by accident, I was at the night of the performance when Jimmy Sr. was there. And like I said, he had a very distinctive voice. And there was a pause, and of course, if you've not seen Book of Mormon, basically they insult everybody and everything. And it was written by South Park people, which you will believe I've never seen an episode of South Park. So we're sitting there, and there's a pause in the show, and it's very quiet. And you hear this voice saying, kind of sacrilegious, isn't it? And the room kind of stopped. In closing, I would say this. Broadway, coming out of COVID, was like, especially in New York, and they were first. It was like a controlled crash landing, kind of like that plane in Toronto that landed upside down. And the dilemma with COVID is you never knew when it was really going to end. There was all this hope, but as Ben Lombardi would say, hope is not a strategy. And the road, we were wearing masks and doing all these things. But New York has had a slow healing, and this will take nobody by surprise, is what's affectionately referred to as the carriage industry around New York. Up until recently, 25% of that industry, that population, were not coming back into the city and seeing shows. And when you open a show, and now the costs, as Christina certainly knows, the costs have gotten much higher, not only in capitalization, but in contracts contracts with the employees, et cetera, et cetera. So Broadway has healed very slowly, and odd things have happened because Friday is the day nobody's in their offices for sure. So now, last fall, they did performances in New York on Monday nights. But thanks for Jamie Dimon and Goldman Sachs, who have given a lot of people air cover to say, you've got to come back to your offices, that's slowly starting to heal. The good news is that the road recovered much quicker. In your case, Scott probably was sitting on 17,000 subscribers, like we were in Durham, about the same. In New York, in Providence, it was 12,000. In Fort Myers, 10,000. And I will bet 1% of those people asked for their money back. But there was a point in New York, and this is the scary thing if you're a producer and you're an investor, there was a point in New York that there was not one advance ticket sale in any box office in any Midtown theater for a show. The money was all given back. And so when New York started, they had to start from square one. And I give them credit. And God bless the state of New York. They've now instituted tax credits. I think it's $3 million a show. And New York is slowly healing. The road has come back with a vengeance. Who knew? I certainly did. And all the global guys who I listened to were like me, were being very cautious. But it's not only come back with a vengeance, Wicked, which has now become supercharged because of the movie, it's in the Gershwin on 51st and 8th. The week between Christmas and New Year's, it did $5 million. And Wicked now is like a mega ship, which is helping drive subscription in areas and is a special. Phantom of the Opera is remounting and going to start touring again, I think, in Baltimore next fall. And last but certainly not least is Harry Potter. Harry Potter's been in New York probably longer than I can remember, 8 or 9 years. And it was one of those shows, it was kind of like Phantom and Cats and Saigon. It'll never tour. But as I tell people, we're in the commercial theater business. There's a lot of smart people in New York, and they'll figure it out. And certainly they figured it out. And Harry opened in Chicago, then went to LA, and then it's coming to then it's coming to Washington, and then, believe it or not, much to the upset of my neighbors up in Boston, it's coming to Providence for 2 weeks and then going into Boston. Because what happened is the initial, and Christine's probably well aware of this, the initial requirement is you needed a trap. And that's so Harry can disappear. And so, however, they discovered there are no traps in all these buildings in Florida. They don't have basements. And then so they're going to have to which is good for you guys. I don't know if you have a trap or not. It would probably cost you $200,000 to put it in. So that's good for you guys because you will get it sooner. Because now it can play the Broward Center, even these old movie palaces like we run one in Providence. It doesn't have we don't have a lot of below ground because of the water table and all those kind of things. So that's good. So you have another, what I call, I think Wicked, Harry Potter, and Phantom are two more what I like to call tentpole shows. The future is very good for the road. Thank you, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Lynn, a.k.a. Providence. We have one more musical performance for everyone to see for our 2025-26 First Bank Broadway season. A breathtaking musical filled with the romance and grandeur audiences know and love. The 30th anniversary production of Disney's Beauty and the Beast features new sets and dazzling costumes. The show boasts an Oscar-winning and Tony Award-nominated score, including the classic songs Be Our Guest and Beauty and the Beast.
Bonjour! 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 Look, there she goes, that girl is strange but special, a most peculiar mademoiselle.
now please welcome to the stage Kira Bell Johnson as Belle and Elon College graduate, or Elon University graduate, Fergie L. Philippe as the Beast to perform Beauty and the Beast.
Tale as old as time, true as it can be.
Barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly.
Just a little change, small to say the least.
Both a little scared,
Neither one prepared, Beauty and the Beast.
ever just the same,
Ever just the same,
ever a surprise,
ever a surprise, ever as before, ever just as sure as the sun will rise. Tale as old as time, tune as old as song, bittersweet and strange, finding you can change, learning you were wrong. Certain as the sun, rising in the east, tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast.
tale
As old as time, song
as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast.
A 2017 graduate of Elon University. Thanks again to all of our performers from The Outsiders, Beauty and the Beast, and The Wiz. Thank you also to OVG Hospitality for a spectacular lunch here in Phillips Hall. Thank you to our staff for all that they do every day to make an enjoyable visit for everyone who attends the Tanger Center. We hope to see everyone back here in the spring and summer as we continue our current Broadway season with special engagements including A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical, plays next week, March 4 to 9. The Book of Mormon returns as a special April 18, 19, and 20. Back to the Future, the musical, plays May 6 to 11. And our final show this season will be Some Like It Hot, playing June 24 to 29. If you'll please stop at the desk on the way out, we have a small gift for everyone as you depart today. Thank you for joining us today, and have a great afternoon.